What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Let's Build the U.S.S. Voyager Season 1, Episode 16. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Today we've got about a 14-minute episode. We're going to be continuing our work on the upper side of our saucer, blending it in, and then also working on our shelf where our bridge is ultimately going to go. So we're going to be going along our cut line here, adding a block of white quartz. Now, I'm just going to be honest, this whole layer that we've added here, we're going to be making a serious adjustment to this. But you're probably going to add this on just so you have the same thing as I'm going to have. This way we make all our alterations to it that we're both on the same page. Even though that we're going to be kind of spinning our wheels here, with the layering on the top part of the saucer, this is still, it's a great exercise to go through, because what we're essentially doing is going through that trial and error period when you're on a build and that you're building a ship for the first time and you're trying things out to see what works and what doesn't work. So I'm not doing anything fancy here. I'm continuing on my same pattern that we've been going all the way up the saucer, because I want to try to close this in to see what it's going to look like, and then that will give me a good idea of what we're ultimately going to have to do. So we did a block of white concrete quartz followed by gray, and then we do a row of half slabs, all going with our cut line. You follow your cut line, you can't make a mistake with this. That's looking pretty good. We've got almost all of it closed in. Now see, and this is the weird thing, from the top, this doesn't look bad. It's from the sides where this whole pattern that we're adding here on the very top of the saucer is messing it up. It's just not going to work. What we're essentially going to have to do is take off 5 or 6 layers, and we're going to have to essentially go back to our pixel circle generator and regenerate those last couple of layers, but not have them develop up as nearly as much as they are. Yeah, see, and from the top down, this doesn't look terrible, but like I said, when you go down and look at it from the side, you should get a clear idea of what I'm talking about here, using our reference material, or 3D model or physical model. You look at the ship from the side, that side profile, it's just not working out. But we're going to let that sit for a little bit. Now we're going to go back and we're going to make an adjustment to our shelf that our bridge is going to sit on. I think I've just ultimately decided that we're just going to rebuild it. And you know what? It is what it is. This alteration that I'm making, if you don't want to make it, you don't have to. You know, you could figure out a way to make it work. You don't have to build these ships out 110% out to what I'm doing. This is a loose reference to give you ideas on what you can do. A great example of this, believe it or not, is my Enterprise D. If you check out my Enterprise D update video that I put out, that is the rebuilt version of my Enterprise D. And when I built that ship out, I followed my tutorial like, I don't know, 95, 96%. I didn't follow every single step because some of the things I remembered to do off the top of my head. But then there were other areas where I was like, you know, like I'm just going to wing it. I've got an idea of what I have to do based on what the tutorial's telling me to do, and I just went for it. And when I actually put out Season 2 of the Enterprise D, I'll pull those spots out so you guys can see it. But the point that I'm trying to make is that you can have variations in your builder. It doesn't have to be 110% block for block, and you can still end up with a build that looks relatively almost exact to what we're going to have here by the time this series is done. The main thing is going through the steps and what I'm doing here. Staying with me with each alteration that we make step by step. And if you do that, then you're going to be in good shape. So now what we're doing here, you can see that I added a row of red concrete going along the front shelf of where our bridge shelf will be. And I'm adding that because I don't want to delete that block, or excuse me, that row. Everything else in the sides, going past that cut line that I made, we're going to be getting rid of that until we get to our blending point between the hull of the saucer and the shelf. Because again, I just want to go ahead and we're just going to redo it. That's why sometimes I say sometimes you got to throw something down to see how it looks before you're going to go and make changes to it. Now, I was going to actually edit some of this out, but I wanted to show specifically what I was deleting, so this way you guys can be on the same page with me. So I mean, it just kind of is what it is here. This stuff needs to be shown so you guys can make those same changes that I'm making. But now we're in pretty good shape. But like I said, what we're ultimately going to have to do here is we're going to end up redesigning the front end of the very top of our saucer and slightly redo our blending point. Now right now we're just going to go back along with our cut line. I'm doing a row of gray concrete because I want that to differentiate from the rest of my blocks, and just going with the cut line and just filling this in. It may not look like it now, but believe it or not, we're making good progress. We have to have some of these things in place so that we can get to where we ultimately need to be. This is why I like showing this stuff in my tutorial process, because I like to show you guys my trial and error process so you guys can see, get an idea maybe a little bit of how I think, the decision making that I go through, the changes that I make. Like you can see right here, I was going to actually just do a row of half slabs going all the way back, going along that gray, and I think I kind of decided that wasn't super crazy about that. Because I think what we need to do here to fix this is that I need to continue my pattern that we have going along our saucer. So behind our white quartz, we need to do white concrete. This is also, again, why I haven't really fleshed out the neck, because it's three things that we have to nail with this build. Getting the saucer right, the neck right, and lower hull right. All three of those pieces kind of need to come together in the right way. And I'm just going to be honest, sometimes it's not so cut and dry as far as what you need to do. That's why I say it's so important sometimes just to throw something down to see how it looks, to get an idea of what you actually will need to do. That trial and error process is just so vital. You can see I'm getting rid of those half slabs because, again, we're continuing our pattern that we have going on here. So there should be a row of white quartz behind it. Okay, so now we did that on the left side, we're going to do that on the right side. Okay, now we're getting to be in pretty good shape. Our pattern is intact, so now we're going to come back with light gray concrete and we're going to do a row, going with our cut line, going all the way around. What this is also going to do too, which is going to be helpful for us, is that we actually narrowed out a little bit of the shelf that the bridge is going to sit on, so it's not going to be nearly as fat as it was before. So now we're going to be slowly starting to get to that end point of what Voyager will inevitably look like for those of you that have seen the tour episode. That's one of the reasons why going forward I'm going to make a point to put my tour episodes out ahead of time, so you guys can see exactly what the finished ship is going to look like. Because like I'll get that a lot, believe it or not, that sometimes like people will think I either make a mistake or I don't get a chance to go over something yet. You got to realize again that I've only got so much time every episode that I can go over these things. And I try to break it down as much as I can, step by step by step. But at the end of the day, I have to go back and pre-watch my recordings before I even go and do my commentary, because I'm not gonna lie, like some of Voyager, like it was a blur to me. Like I'll remember it like in the moment when we come back to it, but I kind of have to like refresh myself, because like this is a long process from beginning to end. We're putting down thousands upon thousands of blocks. Has to be. There's no way doubt about it to me at this point. It takes a lot of blocks to build a ship out like this, and I've had people ask me like, how many blocks is it? Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I have no idea how many blocks that it actually is. I'm not gonna sit here and count out every single block for block that I do. I don't have that kind of time. Maybe there's a program that you can install to figure it out, but it's got to be a lot. And this is why I say planning things out ahead of time as much as you can is so important. And if you're not sure what to do, step away from it. But it all comes back to that planning and going through that trial and error process, trying out different things until you eventually land where you need to land. This is why I always make multiple save files, because the tutorials, sometimes like I'll show my trial and error process, but there'll be sometimes too where like I'll do something off camera and I'll build something out, and I'll try it out a couple of different ways before I'll go back and actually build it on the tutorial. And then even then there might be some changes here and there that I do. Now I do this because some things it just takes a little bit more research and basically getting that shape together. A good example of that you guys won't see when the tutorial comes out will be the Excelsior class. I might have gone back and rebuilt the lower hull of the ship. I think I might have done like 4 different tests before I landed on something. And I did that specifically because I didn't want to blow up the tutorial time. But then, with that even being said, there's going to be some alterations on what I did record, to where we'll be making some changes here and there. But, you know, basically just what I'm getting down to is don't be afraid to try out different things. You'd be surprised just by trying something out that you might end up something so much better than what you had. And maybe what you had might give you an idea of what you ultimately need to do. Or at least that's hopefully what I'm trying to get at, to get you guys to see. It's kind of hard to explain some of this stuff. I think again that's why there's not that many people that do tutorials for ships or ships of this scale, just builds in general this scale, because it can be complicated to try to explain this stuff step by step. But you know, I'm trying, and I'm trying to go through all those steps with you guys and talk about my thought process behind it. So hopefully that you guys will be able to start to develop some of these skills as well. Believe it or not, a lot of this is just remembering the patterns that you use. This is another reason why I build all my stuff on the same map, so I can go back and I can check my references, essentially. Going back and looking at the patterns that I did on old builds. That's, believe it or not, is a great tool in itself, because you can get a refresher in what you did just in case you don't remember that pattern off the top of your head. But I think that we're in pretty good shape here. Today was mostly just a housekeeping episode, I guess, getting us where we need to be, making a couple of changes, so that this way, the next couple of episodes, we can really start rocking and rolling here. The sides here, it's a little bit narrower, but we need to get a circle going here in the front, but we'll get there. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for us today. I just want to thank you guys again for tuning in today's episode. And if you did enjoy this content, please help me out. Hit that like and subscribe button, helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you guys enough for that. Don't forget, we've got a poll going on my YouTube channel. If you want to see Voyager Season 2, be sure to go under the community tabs. This way you can vote and your voice can be heard. If there are any builds that you want to see me do, be sure to join the Discord and click on build suggestions, where you can put your suggestions on there, or you can also comment on YouTube. We've also got some pretty cool stuff coming up on the channel. We've got the Enterprise A tutorial that I'll be doing, which I'll be renaming the Enterprise A 2.0, that we'll be doing once we hit 1,000 subscribers. We've also got the Enterprise D Season 2, as well as the Excelsior 2 class, and a whole bunch of other stuff that'll be coming up. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys again for tuning in today's episode. I hope everybody has a happy and safe week. I'll catch you in the next episode. And what did you make in Minecraft today? Let me know in the comments section.